That's the funny thing is like I'm sloppy as hell, have ADD, can barely stay interested in anything for almost every other thing in this world, but with stencils, for some reason, I can spend hours on them and not get bored. I guess everybody has to have something that holds their interest. You know, it's an odd thing making work, like trying to simultaneously describe what you're doing, but on the other hand, trying to remove yourself from it to just actually just make the work. You know, and so a lot of times I don't really realize what direction I'm going until after I go back and look at it. But you know, I've started noticing that with a lot of my work, I mean, it's about this idea of sort of feeling alone in like the busiest place in the world. You know, this idea of like being surrounded by people and stuff and things and events and sounds and noises and still just kind of having this sort of like, you know, either serenity or depression depending on your mindset, you know, just trying to find yourself in a hectic environment. I mean, I think that, I'd like to think that that sort of idea translates past just the, you know, being, oh, that's a neat city picture. The show actually includes some historical photographs. Like I've been going through some of the historical archives of what New York was like in the beginning, and you know, it's just because you can't take those photos anymore, where there wasn't like buildings on every corner, and there, you know, the architecture is a little bit lower, so you can actually get a general idea of like the landscape. And so, you know, just going through some of the historical archives, I mean, you know, picking out those photos and kind of idealizing what the work would be like. For me, a good piece is sort of, I really like sort of hard angles, hard lines, vanishing perspectives, you know, just something that gives you an idea of the vastness of the city. I think trying to find your little place in the city where you can get away from it all is like is crucial for living in the city. And for me, I mean, the subway's always done that. Like there's plenty of times when, like if I can't sleep at night or if I don't know what to do with myself, I mean, I'll just hop on the subway, you know, and just ride the subway around for a couple hours until I get tired. And I don't know, for me, I guess it's just always been like a retreat. You know, if I lived on the beach, I'd probably go down to the water and just sit there and watch the water crash in, but I don't, so I'll just go down to the subway and, you know, ride the rails. I'd like to think my work is fairly timeless. Like I've always seen my work being more of a contemplative thing as opposed to like an action-based thing. And if you could sort of just take like a little slice of time and view it under a microscope, I mean, that's sort of how I've always kind of seen my work, like these sort of like still reflections that you see like in a lake or whatever. I mean, and I'm definitely a city person, at least for now. Yeah, I grew up on a farm. I grew up in rural southern Maryland. Wasn't very accepting of like a 15-year-old kid running around with a mohawk, you know, when everyone else was driving tractors and farming corn. And so, you know, I fled for the city, and I just remember like in Baltimore, my first day at college, like being happy as hell because for the first time I was anonymous. Like I've never been so happy in my life to not be noticed. And for me, like the city sort of provided that kind of anonymity. The older I get, like the more I kind of want to return to the country. I don't want my kid growing up thinking that pigeons and rats are wildlife. You know, like I want him to see like the deer like in the front yard like I did when I was a kid, or, you know, a skunk like waddling across the road, or possums or raccoons or whatever else, you know. I mean, no matter how mundane or boring those animals may be, the fact is like I have the luxury of growing up with them or seeing them or whatever. And so yeah, I mean, I think I'll probably return to the country at some point. My name is Logan Hicks, and I have an upcoming show at the Opera Gallery, so come check it out.